Right, welcome to the Movie Lighthouse. This is a special. We've just been to see the film Parasite, directed by who is it, Wim?
Bong Joon-ho.
Okay, so my name's James. I'm joined here by
Wyndham.
And we also have
Ashley.
Hello, Ashley.
Welcome, Ashley.
Yeah, welcome along. All right, so just before we get into it, it's been a bit of a weird night, hasn't it?
It has been a bit of a weird
night. So thanks to the Curzon in Croydon.
No, it's a View. So it's a. It was a Curzon provided Q&A. It was a Curzon provided screening with a Q&A with the director and one of the stars afterwards, beamed to a series of other cinemas.
Right.
And we attended View in Grants Way in Croydon. And wow.
We're not going to be doing that again in a hurry.
No.
So they lost the film. It was on a USB stick, apparently. So it started late, and then when they finally found the film, it was out of focus.
It was out of focus from the start. They had Parasite and the director and the actor up on the screen.
And people made lots of complaints, but so everybody, we've just come out and we're all feeling a little bit hazy, aren't we?
Yeah. I think the in-focus USB is at a different cinema.
All right, so let's try and put that to one side.
Yep.
Initial thoughts, what do we think of it?
Can I just say, I did zero research, didn't read about it. I knew we were going to come and see it. I know it's won something like 179 awards. It was Palme d'Or at Cannes last year. It's heavily tipped, won a BAFTA last night. It's heavily tipped for the Oscars. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know anything about any of the other films this guy has written and directed. So I came in completely fresh, and it was not anything like I was expecting. But really enjoyed it.
Okay, Ash?
I thought it was fantastic. I think I've seen two to my memory of these films. I've seen The Host and I've seen Katya. Was that it? The one on Netflix. And the other films he's made tend to have kind of like a lot of CGI, paranormal-esque, but this is much different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was called Parasite. I was totally expecting some sort of horror film with Parasite. But it was about a family who were basically scam artists, and just the way they did it was so beautiful and so clever.
It was amazing, and exactly that. They're a bunch of grifters, essentially. But it plays out with. It starts with this family living in a sub-basement in somewhere in Korea. It doesn't tell you which city, and they're really kind of poverty-stricken.
Yeah.
And it starts off with the young son in the family being asked by his friend to tutor a rich family's daughter, and you kind of think that's the in, and he's going to get paid a load of money, and then it just kind of pinwheels and spirals from there.
I did think it was quite a long film. And I think, if I'm honest, it kind of, for me, I kind of started to lose interest a little bit, maybe about 2/3, 3/4 of the way in, and then it picked up again at the end. But that could have been to do with the out of focus thing.
It could have. We were waiting there for half an hour, we sat down. So,
and I think that there were a couple of points in the film where you expect it to go a certain way, and it kind of didn't, and there were a couple of bits where you thought maybe it might even end at this sort of point, and it didn't, and it kind of kept going a little bit, another step and another step. So I agree. It's about 2.25 hours. It felt a lot longer, but that could have been because of the setup with View using the USB.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, and everyone was very disgruntled. Ashley, what did you think of the performances?
Performances were great. The lead actor, Bong Joon-ho, that's the director. He always great in any film I've seen him in. He tends to kind of carry the film in a way that you really wouldn't expect, really.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few twists and turns, and it started off quite you were surprised, and then it was quite funny, and then it just started to get a little bit sinister.
Yeah, and it starts with almost no music, so the opening credit has a little bit of music on it, and then the music just stops.
Sequences,
and it takes like an hour before you kind of notice any more music in it, and it's essentially the guy gets a job, and then one by one that he helps move the rest of his family into working under the employment of this rich family and moving other people out. So it's about kind of how do you get the driver sacked so his dad can get a job, how do you get the housekeeper sacked so his mum can get a job, and then you kind of think that's it, and
which you're really rooting for.
Yeah, it's kind of like, fair play. And then when you think that's the kind of the payoff is that they're all in, and then there'll be some horrible violent conflict between them and the family, and then it just takes this weird spin when the family go off on a camping trip. But the performances are brilliant. I always you kind of struggle a little bit with foreign language films because language, certainly Asian languages, Korean and Japanese and Chinese, are so expressive, and the pitch changes so dramatically differently to English that you're not entirely. I don't know whether it's a good performance, but they're all perfect performances in this, even in a language I know zero about.
You could even say that, if you ever watch any anime fans out there, if you're kind of like reading the subtitles if you're watching an anime, you might even find that anything could be quite on the nose. But actually, I just think that's the way it's expressed in many Asian languages. This, for example, some of the scenes, you just know exactly what they're thinking, and it's all in the script. And it was great writing as well, and some of the shots.
Yeah. I thought it looked brilliant. Gauged as much as we could see, I suppose.
For one location, make two locations.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Yeah,
and especially so essentially, it's
beautiful
either
house
in their horrible little sub basement or this beautiful architect design house, except the bit where they're escaping through the city. And those shots were amazing. I don't know
the descent.
The descent.
Following the water.
It's just
down.
this kind of almost like puts you in mind of the favelas in Brazil.
Yes,
or something like that. It's kind of people living on top of each other, and it was beautifully shot.
Was there anything you didn't like
About the film?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right,
not about the
the
taste,
evening.
not about the...
Well, the smell of the hot dogs you two had wasn't particularly great. Do you know what? I genuinely had no expectations of it.
Yeah.
And it met all of them.
I'm annoyed because I think if we'd seen it as we were supposed to have seen it,
In focus,
on time, it'd have been a much more.
Which we missed because
Exactly. It'd have been much more enjoyable. But I really enjoyed it. It's just
I'll definitely watch it again.
Yeah, that's for me. Watch again.
It's kind of like when you go to drink maybe a glass of water, but it's not actually water; it's lemonade.
Yeah.
And it just take you by surprise. It's kind of like going to see something like that because I really didn't think it was going to. I was thinking, when's it going to get like really like
When's the horror going to kick in?
Yeah.
And actually, the setup of the house was perfect. And then there's a bit in it where they kind of reference a ghost, and you think, okay, so now it's going to get a little bit dark, and it turns out to be something slightly different.
Yeah.
But the setup of the house is perfect for that kind of.
They didn't use too much of the house. The upstairs, they didn't explore too much of the upstairs.
No.
It was all within what happens within
lounge
this
in the
room
basement.
in the basement. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. I think we better score it. So we're going to give it a score out of 10.
Okay.
Doesn't go on our leaderboards, but just for those people at home who may think about going to see it, I'd certainly recommend it.
I would recommend it.
Yeah,
Definitely recommend it. Yeah, absolutely.
Go and see it because it is a brilliant film, and you won't have seen anything quite like it before.
No.
I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it a 9.
Right.
Yeah.
So high scoring. All right. All right.
Well,
Well,
it definitely sounds worthy of a watch.
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for
Soundtrack
breaking your
fantastic.
cherry with us today,
Of
Ashley.
course, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Hope to see you again soon. Yeah. All right. That's us signing off.
See you later.
Lighthouse.